Hey, 40 freaks, I got something like to whisper in your ear. Tell you a little something you might not like to hear. Your feet look stinky and your balls look flat. You got a red card, now you're in the book. Where do you see this pitch? Where do you see this pitch? Where do you see this pitch? What's up, babies? What's up, little babies, mother fathers? How y'all doing? We back on the Footy Fetish Show. Where the fetish is real and the footy is soccer. I'm back with my host. I'm whispering it. Oh, Joe, tell us something. I like it.
Back on the mic. What's the mic at? Where do you see my?
Where do you see this pitch?
Shout out to the Yin Yang twins.
Featured on 2 in a row.
2 in a row, that's right.
2 in a row.
2 ratchet intros.
I know.
To Atlanta. We appreciate all that music from Atlanta.
Yes. Nothing else.
They kind of abandoned it and then we adopted it. I love that we took Atlanta's music and made it our own.
Everybody just moved out to the suburbs like Atlanta, you know, basically. Oh, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Had that one in the back burner for a while. I got a couple more. Yeah. They're coming live straight at you. Stay tuned. It might be the only reason you listen. Stay tuned. That's it.
By the way, I had a coach come up to me. He said he lives out in Metairie.
Yeah.
And he said the entire way from his house to the field, he and his son just listened to Footy Fetish intros. He said his son was just cracking up. You are getting love and appreciation out there.
Yeah, tell him I appreciate that. That's awesome. Well, he might be listening now. Yeah. Appreciate that.
Right, yeah.
Tell your son don't listen to the Real Whisper song. His son is Googling as we speak. Yeah. Anyway, I think we got to do something called Champions League. Champions. It's here. We just had we had 4 games go off for the round of 16. 4 sexy ones. Some of them you expected, some of them you didn't expect. Man, we got to bring somebody on to talk PSG that knows some PSG, that lives PSG and breathes PSG. Ntwali, welcome back to the show, my friend.
What's up, fellas? From the Yang twins to the Footy twins, I'm so happy to be back.
Yeah, back with Ntwali, the PSG pundit, all the way from, you're in San Francisco, right?
Correct. Yep.
Love that. Need to make a way out there. Maybe do a podcast episode out there. That'd be dope.
Really fun stuff.
Cool.
Definitely down.
Ntwali, let's just start it off, man. Let's get into your team here. What happened? Who'd they play? Break it down for us.
Ooh, yeah. A cold night in Paris, a little rainy and drizzly. Real Madrid, all dressed in white, came through trying to catch an ass whooping, and they did.
Cheeky. That was a 1-0 score, PSG, with a goal in the 93rd minute from Kylian Mbappe, assist from Neymar. The possession was 57-43 in PSG's favor. PSG had 21 shots to Real Madrid's 3. 7 of those were on target. Sorry, I had that wrong. 8 of those were on target for PSG and 0 were on target for Real Madrid. Just really quickly looking at that without even commenting on the game, it seems as Ancelotti channeled his Italian there and just kind of sat in and welcomed the PSG attack. Looking at the heat maps, you can see a majority of their touches are in their own half. And it almost looks like Benzema and the center forward, his touches were just non-existent. Looking at PSG, the majority of their touches were above the halfway line, suggesting that they had a majority of their possession in the attacking half. Ntwali, give us your thoughts on this game in general. What did you like? What did you not like?
The game, probably you wouldn't say it was the most engaging because the heat map man showed, and you kind of said PSG was kind of more on the offensive. Real was kind of sitting back, happy to absorb. I don't know if Ancelotti was keeping in mind the fact that 2 of his starters in Benzema and Mendy were both coming off injury. These were the first minutes in I think 2 or 3 months. So maybe he thought he was playing kind of down a few guys. I know that over the weekend they struggled against Villarreal, and maybe he was coming into Paris thinking that these guys are a little banged up. Better to keep a lower score line and wait for the return leg in 3 weeks. And for most of the game, it looked like it was going to go that way. PSG had more shots, more possession in the key areas that matter, kind of around the box in there, but they just couldn't shoot on target and Thibaut Courtois had an amazing game, to be fair. He had an exceptional game. So did Mbappe, a lot of great chances. He caused the PK that Messi ultimately missed. But I would say on the balance of the game, a deserved win for PSG, who should have taken more chances than they ultimately did.
Yeah, and can't forget, I'm just remembering this. I believe there was a player that missed a PK, namely this guy right behind me. Well, Messi
Indeed.
changed his
Yep.
name to Missy, put that E for an I, missing PKs and key points of a game. Luckily, Mbappe was there to save him, because I can only imagine PSG drawing that game 0-0. The focus now goes to Messi missing that PK versus Mbappe scoring in the 93rd minute. To add on to what you were saying about Courtois, 8 saves. He made 8 saves. So that was spot on, commenting on his ability that game. They really stepped up. And not to mention, he saved a PK. I mean, God.
Yeah, he did. And he had another one on Mbappe that was like a quick shot going to the corner. For a guy his size, I think he's like 6'6", to get down low and get that in there. That was an amazing game, honestly. Courtois played his heart out. I'd say that his center line also did to the best of their ability. Carvajal was taking water from all sides. He was, I think that took him out in like the 60th or something. Ferland Mendy also, and one of the key things that I also was going to mention, but then if you watch, one of the key players that's understated for PSG is Marco Verratti. He had an incredible game. I think he's in the like mid 90s for passing accuracy, 120 touches, something like that. Like first in tackles, first in one possession. He was all over the place. An incredible player, honestly.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, Madrid struggled a little bit to kind of get their like midfield three going. Kroos and Casemiro and Modric. You can tell that like they're like getting a little slower in time, with age. And I'm pretty sure Modric didn't play but like 20 minutes in the Villarreal game. So maybe they like had a lot of minutes under their legs this year. But their midfield can get going, and then the forwards can get any of the ball. So that's kind of where the game went.
Yeah. One of the things that I went and watched the tactical breakdown of this. I wish I would have watched the full 90, but what they said was going on was that Messi was dropping deep to pick up the ball, and PSG really took advantage of the athleticism and the attack-mindedness of their outside backs, Hakimi and Nuno Mendes. Those two had a phenomenal game with a 7-4 each. They were flying up and down that left and right side. And like you were saying, Carvajal was getting water from both sides, having to defend Mbappe and Nuno Mendes. I mean, you got your hands full. Both of those players had elite speed, and Carvajal was getting up there in age. That you can only imagine that had to be a very difficult task. Not to mention with Mendes pulling out wide left, Carvajal is forced to go out there and cover him. And what that allowed Mbappe and Verratti to do is Mbappe would either Mbappe would either pick up Militao and allow Verratti in between them, or Verratti and Messi would Verratti and Messi would pick up Militao as a defender, and then Mbappe would get in this half zone. So perfectly said, that right side for Real Madrid's defense was just getting totally overloaded. And we saw it at the end of the game, just tired legs. Mbappe with a very, very cheeky little touch in between two defenders, and then getting that one-on-one on Courtois. I mean, it was just a matter of time. I mean, the number of shots that they had, the possession they had, it's surprising that it took that long to really break through, but job well done by Mbappe.
And that goal, I know you just hit on it too, but that goal came against Vasquez and Militao, were the two guys he split to get through to like scoring Courtois. And Vasquez came in for Carvajal, and naturally, like I think Vasquez also grew up playing a right winger, not a right back. So that's
interesting. Yeah, that's another good point. What I was also I forgot to mention is that PSG did a good job overloading the midfield with Paredes, and Verratti. Those three going up against the other midfield three of Real Madrid would even out, but Messi dropping deep into the midfield made it a numerical superiority for PSG, and all they needed was Mendes or Hakimi to just push high up the field, and it would prevent Mendy and Carvajal the ability to join into that midfield line and equal out those numbers. It was really, I mean, I got to give credit to Pochettino here. Ancelotti did tell his team, hey, just accept that they're going to have the ball. We're just going to sit back and try and capitalize on our few moments. And unfortunately, it didn't happen for him. So, yeah, Booty, we can kind of leave it there.
It's okay, man. Y'all are going, man. I'll let y'all run. If y'all run 100 miles an hour, I'm gonna let you do it. I'm gonna stick with the theme, man. Ocho gonna beat that Messi up. Yeah. Yeah. He now leads Champions League in the most PK misses of all time now. Look it up. I know. Also, that's one of those stats too. It's like kind of like the Brett Favre interception record. You know, it's like it just means you're old as fuck. You know, you just been doing this a while. So I can't hate on you too much for that, but still make more of them. There's another guy who's your age that has. We won't mention his name. We don't speak his name. In a little while we will, maybe. We're looking at those previews. Yeah, I think it's this dude. I think it's just a little red devil.
Side by side.
A little red devil. No, man, it's PSG, man. Of course, Mbappe is gonna take that spotlight, but like you were saying, it kind of takes away from what they were doing on the midfield. But fun to watch Mbappe finally. I know he's got a lot of critics. It's fun to see him actually score against the team he'll probably be playing for soon. So that's kind of interesting.
It raises his price tag.
Yeah, exactly. Raise the price tag. Which I also thought on the flip side, we found out before this match that Bale's not coming back. I thought all of a sudden they were going to put Bale in. You know. Also, yeah, exactly. We didn't. I saw him come in. I was like, oh shit, he's gonna start fucking playing now. But no, like Twali said, shout out to Courtois saving the PK, keeping him in the game, keeping that over under. But also, you got to look at this. For me, with Real Madrid, I feel like, okay, you know, PSG, the story was Mbappe for this game. I feel like we're talking about the same story yet again with Real Madrid, where somebody, you know, not that they scored any goals this game, but let's close our eyes for a minute and imagine this was a 1-1 finish. Who do you think would have scored this goal? In my opinion, it probably would have been Benzema, right? Who's going to help this man out? We're still trying to discuss that. We keep thinking it's going to be Vinicius. So it's this next match, this next leg. Maybe it's about that time for you. And then, like you said, with the midfield, man, it's getting old, and it's going to be interesting to see when do they pull the plug and just start over fresh, and who they start with first. You know, who they start with first, or all three at the same time.
Honestly, it's got to be Modric.
Yeah, oldest one of them. And I think he just resigned, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and I would keep him around just because he's a vet.
Right.
You know, he's a leader of Croatia. He'll be a leader for Real Madrid in the locker room.
There's something interesting to watch. I was going to end it on that, but something interesting to watch to see where they make that first move.
We do know they've already made one move for that midfield.
Who's that?
Camavinga.
Yeah.
Right. So
yep.
They have, but he is no.
And they still have Valverde, who's not old. But...
Good point.
That's right.
Yep.
But I mean, I think we can all agree neither of those two are on the same level as Cruz, Casemiro, or Modric. Not even close, in my opinion. They're still very young and they have the potential to fill those shoes, but those are big fucking shoes to fill. Speaking of young and inexperienced, I think that's what's going on with Vinicius Jr. Marquinhos, very experienced. He's the captain.
And they play on the same team. Yeah, I mean, they play for the same country. So if anything, you think
he knows his tricks. And and on top of that, you have Hakimi, who, while he's still young, he's very experienced in Champions League. I mean, he's
played a lot more Champions League games.
A lot more. He was at Real Madrid, and he went to Dortmund, and then he went to Inter.
Yeah.
Now he's on PSG. He's played with all the best players. He's played at the highest levels. I mean,
and think of like the leagues he's tried. You know, like he's been a starter on the team in Italy that won the league. He's been a starter not a starter for Real Madrid, but a starter for PSG and at Dortmund, who like have had some pretty good success in the Bundesliga and the Champions League. So you'd think, and he just played the AFCON. I'm not knocking it on Vinicius, but yeah, like I think experience shows in those big games for sure.
No. Vinicius only has experience in Brazilian league outside of Spain, and those levels, you know, if you saw the Chelsea and Palmeiras Super Cup, it's the quality is clear. It's a clear.
It's night and day.
Quality. It's night and day. They're a very scrappy team. Vinicius was able to showcase his technique in the Brazilian league, But when you get to the higher, it's like going college to NFL. Everybody's as fast as you. You can't just use your speed. You actually have to play with your head. And right here, Marquinhos and Hakimi, for me, just outclassed him. Now, he's still young. I think Vinicius is only like 20. So he's got plenty of growth. So it's going to be exciting to see how he does moving forward.
I think it also hurts you when, as thinking as like what a Madrid fan would probably be feeling right now, you have Benzema who's probably half strength for this game. So he probably wasn't getting anywhere near as much attention as like Vinicius would. And then on the other side, you have Asensio who blows cold most of the time and then has like a rare glimpse where he drops like 2 or 3 goals and then goes cold again for like the whole of spring. So he probably had more on his shoulders. The ball was coming his way more, and then he was getting shut down more because, yeah.
Kind of makes you wonder if like you were saying, with Ancelotti's actual tactics for this game, the whole mindset of it was let's drop back. Does he also think that same thing? Like, I don't know who this other guy is going to be that's going to help out Benzema. But at the same time, you're not creating any chances for you guys to find that out. So it's interesting. It's interesting to see how that's going to develop and who's going to step up.
He's got more dilemmas actually because a lot of key starters are going to be missing for the return leg. I don't know if you guys noticed that.
Oh.
A lot of key stars will be missing for the return leg.
What you got?
Yeah. Casemiro picked up a suspension for another yellow.
Oh.
So did Mendy on the left side. And then the backup to Mendy is Marcelo, who's like 57 now.
Shit.
So
he might not be able to actually flip the script if he wanted to.
The only positive I could see from that is the fact that 3 weeks for Benzema to recover is plenty of time for a guy who, like, when his peak of his powers, could carry a whole team. So,
yeah.
It's going to be interesting. I think for me, as long as they have 2 out of those 3 in the midfield, they're okay. I know Casemiro, there's always like memes about Casemiro putting Messi in his back pocket every time they play. He just seems to have Messi's number. So maybe that'll be a factor because Messi was dropping deep into PSG's midfield, which would put him in a one-on-one against Casemiro. I didn't think Messi really contributed this game, Ntwali. What was your opinion?
He got the passing, but like the offensive Messi that like carries the ball and gets a shot on target seems to kind of be gone now. He was kind of pulling the string from deep. It reminded me a little bit of what Del Piero turned into when he couldn't really run anymore. Like you can kind of tell, like the role that Zidane played too. Like you don't go as far back as the midfield to pick up the ball, or like as like the halfway line or like top of your defense. You kind of like hover in a spot and then pick out like your fast guys once they're on the run. And I think that's what Messi did, and he could do really well. It's probably reflecting in the fact that he has like twice or 3 times as many assists this season. He does goals. He's just not at the top of the box or like in there to finish those shots, and that's just being 34, 35.
Yeah. Okay. Looking at his stats real quick, it looks like he had 8 shots, 2 on target with 4 key passes. So he definitely was contributing in offense, but just maybe not in an impact.
In a sexy way.
Yeah, not in a sexy
way. And missing a PK kind of overshadows whatever he did in the game. I think that's like the one thing people remember. He got hammered in the French press. I think he got rated a 3 out of 10 by L'Equipe, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's a little aggressive. There's definitely some biased or unbiased going there.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's a 1-0. This could go either way. Going back to the Bernabeu, PSG can walk in there and get 2 goals, walk away, and I'm not sure about the rule with away goals. So
it's gone completely. So it's like just
if Real Madrid wins the game 1-0, what happens?
They go to overtime or PK and then PK. It's kind of like how the AFCON is playing. Think of it like single elimination now.
So if it is tied on goals in aggregate, it doesn't matter who scored more. You just keep playing.
Yep.
I like that. I'm okay with that. Because then if a team wins, like we saw with Ronaldo and Juventus, against Lyon, they won their game 2-1, but because they lost 1-0,
yeah, you lose. Yeah, it was all those memes about how to explain how they lost 1 and draw all on the same day. Yeah.
Lost 1 and drew. They drew an aggregate 1, but lost the overall tie.
And it is a stupid rule. I don't even know how that ever got in there anyway. So I think it's just fair now. It's like, I mean, you could compare it a little bit to like American football and kind of like the overtime rules and how like crazy and complicated that kind of stuff is. And the debate is huge now. But yeah, I'm glad that rule's gone.
For me, I would say now the the advantage goes to the second team because if you have the same result, if they won at home and then you win at home and you go into overtime, you're now playing overtime in your stadium. You have the advantage. So maybe moving forward, whoever has the higher seed, whoever finished higher in the group, would get that second leg to give them the advantage. Have
that must be what it is, because Real gets to receive and they won their group, and PSG was second to City in their group. So that's got to be how they mapped it out.
That's got to be it. That's got to be it. So maybe that's how they resolve this, because I would imagine now without the away goals, there's an advantage to the second leg of this match.
Home field is now home field again.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, because that was home field didn't mean shit with that rule.
Yeah.
You know.
All right. Well, that was an awesome breakdown. We got 3 more games to talk about. So this next one's going to be quick. This is Manchester City versus Sporting Lisbon. This is a 5-0 smackdown where City had 64% possession to 36 for Sporting, and City had 15 shots to Sporting's 3, 6 of their shots on target, 0 on target for Sporting. This game was 4-0 by the 44th minute. So pretty much over and done with Pep's plan, going perfectly to play. We were talking about this before the podcast, and I think Pep loves going up against a 3-man backline, especially if they're just going to sit in. I think he has finally sharpened how to break down a team that's going to sit in, especially one with a 3-man backline. I didn't actually watch this game in full. We just saw the highlights. But, Ntwali, do you want to just give some thoughts on this?
Yeah, if I had to summarize this game quickly, I'll just say that one team played and one team got played. And Pep was probably just waiting for one of these kind of games. Like, a team like his is overpowered, as people call it these days. But they just went up against a team that's probably used to, it's a different league, Portugal. We're not going to knock them for that. They probably played some lesser competition. But Pep is like a tactician. You could just kind of tell he's like worked and refined his game. And what seemed apparent in this game is that like it's not a different City than we've seen before. They have a lot of the ball, they get a lot of chances. What was different this game was like every shot they took just seemed to go in. They couldn't miss. Even the ones that would have been off target just seemed to bounce off someone and go in. And it's bad luck Sporting, but you just met one of the contenders for the Champions League, probably like odds-on favorite to win this one, and they put in the work.
Finals last year. They're looking to be in the finals again this year. One of the things I remember now that we talked about before was their average position, where City, how they started with a back 4, and they had 3 center backs in their back 4. Stones, Laporte, and
Cancelo or Diaz.
And then they had Cancelo as a left back. Looking at their average positions, Cancelo, like he's been doing in the past, has squeezed into the midfield line, and he joined up with Bernardo Silva and who's that? Man, I keep forgetting these names. Bernardo Silva and Phil Foden.
Yeah,
those 3 seem to drift to the left side of the formation with Sterling, De Bruyne, and 26 Suarez taking the front 3. So they kind of pivoted from a 4-3-3 to almost like a 3-4-3, with the majority of that midfield being on the left side. Pep must have seen something on this right side defense of Sporting, because looking at the heat map, the majority of the touches was on the left side. But as Ntwali pointed out at the beginning, the crosses for the goals were coming in from the right side. So I didn't watch this, but looking at the heat map, looking at the average positions, I would assume that the possession was held on the left to pull Porto out, and then a quick switch to the right within a cross into the box, creating mismatches. Ruben Diaz, I believe, got on one of the headers, which then fell to one of his teammates. Bernardo Silva had a banger. Sterling had a banger. Like Ntwali said, you get bangers like this, you get deflections. It's just not your day. One team came to play, the other one got played.
And you have to think that like Pep is one of the guys that didn't he basically come up with the kind of tiki-taka style coaching? Like if you see a team and it seems like Sporting was kind of set up to be like defensively strong and like kind of like hold and contain. It seems like quick passing on one side would be easy to kind of draw a team out and like get that overload. And when you have people like Bernardo Silva and Kevin De Bruyne, you're gonna get that quick passing to like switch the side. They have long passing locked down. It was never this tie. We already knew it was never gonna be for Sporting anyway. But I think in one half, like City was just kind of like there should be a mercy rule for some of these games, honestly.
Yeah, I liked how he was like, "We're gonna talk about this one quick," and I was like, "Yeah, that was pretty much that. You could call this game just quick. You just could. In 40 minutes, we knew what was going on. Like you said, Paul. I mean, the little short passes that they're always in the right place, right time. Everybody knows where they need to be. The positioning, 64% possession for him this match. It speaks volumes too. We were talking about beforehand. I'm not sure if it was. I think it was Twali that was saying, you got Stones over there on the right side, on the right back, who's not a right back. So if you think about how scary that is, they literally just took a weakness of theirs and made it a strength. Like, cool, let's just pull everything over the other side. We know we can dominate. You know what I'm talking about?
Look at the
we'll just
possession.
keep everything away from our weakness.
Yeah. That's a really good point. I didn't even think of that. That is really interesting. Yeah, and as well as you, not only do you keep the ball away from your weakness, you then put the ball back on that weakness, that side after you've created a strength on that side.
Right.
So, like I was saying, they're crossing the ball in from the right. They're not bringing the ball up the right side to cross it. They're bringing the ball up on the left side and then back on the right side to cross it. To where if they lose it, they're high enough up the pitch that they don't have to worry about that right back getting beat.
Exactly.
I didn't even recognize.
Baja Blast, man. I got the Baja Blast today. Shout out to Baja.
Big sponsor. Moving on, let's just get out of here. So we're now moving on to Wednesday. I kind of want to finish with Inter Liverpool. So let's start with Salzburg and Bayern. This finished 1-1. Possession 72-28. I mean, Bayern coming out with a very strong attacking formation. The shots was 22-11 in Bayern's favor, with 9 shots on target for Bayern and 6 on target for Salzburg. It seems as if Salzburg came to play here. They didn't just sit back, which it's crazy to think that this only finished 1-1. Got to give credit to the goalkeepers. Keep in mind, Neuer was not in. This is a backup keeper, Ultrek. One more thing, speaking of goalkeepers, Philip Cohn for Salzburg. Hell of a game. I would have given this dude man of the match. So Coleman got the man of the match. But for me, I would have given it to Philip Cohn. That dude was just saving everything in front of him. I'm going to look at the saves real quick. He had 8 saves to Bayern Munich's 4. Looking at the heat maps real quick, Bayern dominating possession, dominating the touches, looking to go down the flanks and then bring it back to the middle, with Salzburg getting the majority of touches with their goalkeeper. So it's really shocking that they were able to even get as many attacking attempts and shots on goal as they did. Twali, do you have anything you want to add here?
Yeah, I was thinking, obviously I watched the highlights for this one. I didn't catch the game, but from what I did see, Salzburg's goal came from like a quick counter, and their formation seems to kind of show, and the heat map, like you mentioned, seems to show that they kind of like were happy to sit back, but use the pace of people like Brendan Aronson, shout out the American, and Adeyemi to kind of like get all the way up there. And I was intrigued when I saw the heat map when you pulled up that screen actually quickly, because the Okafor guy is the guy that scored for them. And if you look at their heat map, it's all defense and then just speed on the wing. There's nothing down the middle. They're not kind of like messing about. They're just going for it. And the number of touches is like 480 to 900 and something. Yeah. So Bayern had chances, but I feel like they left themselves a little too exposed, having too many offensive players and then having to play a right back as center back. That kind of stuff is not going to help you.
Yeah, 100%. This is a very strange formation. I just realized it. It's a 3-2-4-1. I don't think I've ever seen a formation like this. This is very unique. So is it a 3-6-1? Or is it a 3-2-5? Right?
3-2-4-1.
The 5-4-1, I guess. I've never seen anything
like an offensive 5-4-1. I think is what I call it, expecting like Kimmich and Tolisso to fill in the lines over there, because Hernandez and Pavard are really just right backs and left backs. So I'm thinking that's what he was going for. But then you have nothing in the midfield.
Yeah, you got, and that I guess they're hoping for Mueller. I mean, I guess what you can do is you only need one of those center mids to drop in, Kimmich or Tolisso. So if you get Kimmich to drop in, then Tolisso can screen the back line. Or if you get Tolisso to drop in, then you can get
Kimmich back up, yeah.
line.
So 4-1-4-1.
Yeah, so I would say it's like a 4-1-4-1, I think is a good way to describe it. But I remember you and I talking about this right before the game, because we were like, Gnabry and Cohn are not outside wingbacks. So they can't be the one that's going to be dropping in, because we thought it was interesting. I would say this is, like a 4-4, a 5-4-1. You know what this didn't do? This didn't favor Lewandowski. Looking at the heat maps, there's like barely any touches in the middle. Looking at the average positions, second, shout out to who scored.
Shut up.
Average positions. Yeah, it looks like Lewandowski was dropping in more as like a false 9 with Mueller, and I think Sané is the number 10, them also kind of joining together. So looking at these average positions, it's almost now like a 3-5-2, but the two are Kingsley Coman and Gnabry just staying wide, and this is weird. Shout out to the American, like Twali said, Brendan Aronson with the arguable intentional assist. I don't know if you guys saw that. Someone posted a video arguing about how it was an intentional touch to Adeyemi to get that goal.
But he just kind of mishit it.
It looks like he went to reach for it and it just kind of hit off his foot and went to his teammate. I don't care. Mark it down as an assist. Nobody's going to remember whether it was intentional or not later in the year. But this was shout out to Salzburg, man. They really, no one, I think, had them tying this game.
No. I mean, it's like you said, man, the midfield's questionable. You got Louis dropping back to help. You need Louis in the space. You need Louis in the space all fucking game for 90 minutes and feed him the ball. And if you can't do that, Bayern's done, man.
Yeah, because, to add on to that, Louis in space also forces center backs.
Yeah.
To be honest.
To stay. Right.
Yeah, they have to. When you drop them in, they're like, okay, we'll just follow you.
They'll follow him, which leaves Mueller for opportunities. It leaves opportunities for Gnabry. You're not going to get that either. It's a big clutch. That map right there that you just took off. That one, I mean, it shows us the whole history of the game right there. It's called a clusterfuck. As a clusterfuck in the middle of the field. So I mean, it's tough.
I think Nagelman's got a case of the Peps.
The Peps. He's overthinking that.
This one. Going 3-2-4-1. Just keep it simple, bro.
Pep boys.
Like oh man, he's got 4.
What did he bring on off the bench?
Who's the other center back? You have Upamecano. Where the fuck is he?
Yo, by the way, just quick little tidbit right here. Bayern actually just finished today. Yeah. They were down 1-0 for 42 minutes. They turned it on though, 4-1. But let me see something. I'll pull up let's pull up what he came out with today.
But they did lose last week to Bochum too. Like before this Champions League game, they got dropped playing the same, like I think it was like a 3-4-3 or 3-5-2 or something with 2 wingers as wingbacks and Thomas Mueller and someone else that's like also offensive playing attacking mid. I don't know what he's up to there, but it ain't looking good.
He did today it was a 4-2-3-1. Sabitzer, where Gnabry was, Sané on the opposite side. Louis had 2. But I mean crap team. It's it was nonsense. Firth.
And they call the French League the Farmers League.
Hey man, I'm gonna put French League above Bundesliga now.
It's a physical league. People don't realize that. And Messi's not getting the calls that he usually gets these days.
That's right. People make the argument, the Bundesliga is better. They have more goals per match, more goals per game. It's like, how does that make it a better? I mean, I guess it's more fun to watch because teams are not defending. But man, when you tie a team from Austria in Champions League and you come out experimenting, that's who we're supposed to see as like the face of the Bundesliga. It's like
shows a little bit of ego right there too, huh? I'm just fucking just throw out. We can fuck with this team.
I mean, you have I was just looking. You have the players. You have Dayot Upamecano and Tanguy Nianzou, who are both. I mean, they're young, but they're quality center backs. I don't know why he's trying to go with this 3-2-4-1. I just can't wrap my head around.
He threw Choupo-Moting in there today. He had a goal.
Did he?
But I mean, I'm not even looking at any statistics or anything from this match today. I can guarantee you, that's true. He's out, isn't he?
So you lose that attacking threat down the left side. Hernandez could do it, but he just doesn't have the pace, probably, or the stamina to be able to run up and down.
And see, I'd rather swap Sané and Cohn right there. Those two. Put Sané on the outside, man.
Sané,
Yeah.
He's also got that left foot, so now you can let him drive in on the left.
Let Cohn work with Mueller in the middle.
Mueller is exactly where he needs to be, but I think, like you were saying, it's just a cluster. There's too many there.
It's too much. Yeah, too much. Too many Chiefs.
That's right. Too many cooks, too many Chiefs.
Too many cooks in the kitchen.
This was a great one. Love seeing Inter lose. Unfortunately, didn't work out for Booty's venue. But this is Liverpool beating Inter 2-0 in the Giuseppe Meazza San Siro. The possession was relatively even 54-46. Shots were pretty even, 13-9, 13 for Liverpool. Shots on target, though, 2 for Liverpool, 2 goals, 0 for Inter. Ooh, I'm going to actually give them one shot because I'm pretty sure Çalhanoğlu hit one off the post. I don't know why they don't consider that on target. So I'm going to give you that one, Çalhanoğlu. You got one on target.
And Dzeko had a goal that was called back offsides. But it was a straight, like if he wasn't offsides, man. No, it was just a little through ball, and they caught him off, but he would have been 1-on-1 with keeper. Timing was just off. Yep.
Yeah, so looking at this game, I didn't get to watch the whole thing. Would have loved to, but Inter, got to give credit all the way back to Conte because he drilled this team to be a 3-man back team, and he drilled this team's midfield to be high work rate. And with the addition of Çalhanoğlu, it helps Barella. Gives him just a little bit of reprieve with pressing and having the ball at his feet. Couple in the fact with Brozovic, who has really stepped up as a possession, ability to absorb pressure under possession, be able to handle the possession under pressure. Watching Inter play against Milan, I immediately, when I turned it on and watched for a few minutes, my immediate reaction was Inter's weakness is building out the back. Because what they do is they open up their back line and they ask Brozovic to drop in and be that transition piece from the back line to the midfield line. When you have a team like Klopp, who is almost the exact same as far as work rate, and you get Salah, Jota, and Mane covering the 3 center backs, all you need is one midfielder, and now you have evened 4-4. And what this does is it forces the Inter backline and or goalkeeper to then play out to the wings, Perisic and Dumfries. Going up against Liverpool, you've got Trent Arnold-Alexander, and then you've got Robertson, who can cover both of those players. So it really made it difficult for Inter. Now, they did do very well, I thought. They played with grit. I feel like they matched the tempo of Liverpool's high-paced offense, high-paced defense, but it's just unfortunate that Liverpool was able to get one off a set piece with was it Firmino? I think Firmino scored that first set piece.
Yeah, off a corner.
Yep. And then also, I think it was another set piece or either a cross into the box. Van Dijk won the header and then just laid it back to Salah. So, for as much as Inter, on the other hand, they did a really good job also preventing Liverpool from building out of the back. And they forced Liverpool to play long to their 3 forwards, which Skriniar, De Vrij, and Bastoni were going to win those aerial duels all day long. It was a great tactical battle back and forth, but in the end, Klopp was able to get 2 goals. I said a lot there, so I'm going to pass it off. Ntwali.
Yeah, I watched the game. I didn't pay as much attention as like the day before the PSG Real game, but it looked like a tight battle. I mean, it was like a a lot better of a game to watch because both sides were involved. Both were going back and forth. I'm pretty sure Inter also hit a post maybe. And then the two goals that they got scored on, there's nothing Handanovic could have done. I mean, they were point blank, kind of like, yeah, the Firmino header is, you can't place that any better into the opposite corner. You can't dive at that. And then I think the Salah goal, he was also maybe a little screened by like defenders. So can't blame him for either of those. The game was a lot closer than the scoreline shows for sure.
100%. Yeah, got to give credit to Inter. And I'm going to just give them a quick live shout out here. The Scudetto is in the balance. Gonna check here.
It's Milan winning.
Solo coming away with the 3 points. So Inter just dropped 3 points. They still have a game in hand, but this Serie A table just got really interesting. AC Milan were able to stay at the top with 56, 26 games played. Inter are now in second with 54 points, 25 games played. Napoli is in third with 53, 25 games played, so they have a game in hand. Juventus are in fourth place, 47, 26 games played. So this
9 points off.
Yeah, this table is still very much open as far as I'm concerned, but I think the battle is between the top three. Juve have Lazio and Atalanta nipping at their heels. Oh, and Fiorentina, it looks like. Fiorentina, Roma. So Roma is in 8th place. Juventus is in 4th. Roma's got 41 points. Juventus have 47. So there's a 6-point difference between 4th and 8th. This is going to be a fun finish in Serie A. It always is.
Mm-hmm.
But going back to Inter, Booty, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah. I mean, Inter hung in there about 75 minutes. Of course, that's where Booty lost his bet. Took the under 1.5 goals, and of course, that second goal. I know, because the odds were great, so that's why I was like, I'll take that, because I could see this being a chess match, and it was. And then that second goal was poo poo. Anyway, of course it would be. Of course, it wouldn't be a screamer, because then I'd be like, okay, cool, I lost fair and square, fine. Yeah, but something to point out about Liverpool. You talk about the 3-headed monster all the time. It's very easy to. It's very easy to quickly go to that. But the set pieces is what they're killing it with this year. If I'm not mistaken, they have the most goals off of set pieces in the EPL right now. They showed like a little stat during the game, something along the lines of that. But if you really look into most of their goals this year, man, they know how to get the set pieces done. They have the movement that they have during these set pieces. People in the right spots, like we're saying earlier. Love that right place, right time. But they've been doing really well with that. Now, something that we need to mention before we go to this next leg. So Jota picked up an injury this match, but it wasn't as bad as they thought it was going to be. Now, something else that we need to look at, though, apparently Bobby Firmino picked up an injury that they didn't realize he had until the game was over. So something that we need to look at, he might miss that next match, which, if I'm not mistaken, he came off the bench. Something that needs to be pointed out about this, Klopp goes ahead and he makes some key subs by second half, because before that, I mean, Inter looked pretty, like we said, pretty decent. Looked better than Liverpool in the first half, really. But then all of a sudden, Klopp makes these little subs. He puts Henderson in, and then he put in Luis Diaz, Firmino, Diaz. Of course, Diaz just had a goal, I believe, yesterday, just off this transfer a couple weeks ago. So it's fun to see. But he makes those changes. They look like a completely different squad.
Spot on.
So
got to give credit to Klopp here. Those subs changed the game for me. Adding Roberto Firmino, who for me, people would argue he's a like for like with Diogo Jota, but Firmino for me in the air is way more deadly, as we saw here. And then I think his ability to drop down is one of the best as a center forward.
Oh yeah, for sure.
False nine, he kind of dropping as a center midfielder. Luis Diaz, glad to see him. He just got thrown into the fire there. Not really slowly working him in. I mean, he was in his first game available. He was in on the bench.
Yeah.
Same thing here. He was given a nice half hour, 30 minutes to play, subbing in for Sadio Mane, and he contributed just with his off the ball work rate is just, you can't coach that type of stuff. And I think Klopp loved that about him and why he brought him in. There's a great clip on the internet of Luis Diaz meeting Klopp for the first time, and Luis Diaz is next to his translator, and Klopp walks up to him. He's like, "Hey, man, how's it going?" And Luis Diaz just goes, "Zero English." And Klopp's like, "Ha ha ha, we'll take care of that." And like immediately, like, "Come on with me, man. I'm not worried about that." You know, if you think about all the players he's worked with, he's got Mane, Firmino, Salah. I think they each have their own
3 different languages.
Right there.
Yeah.
You have the mid Thiago, Spain. Right?
Yeah.
You have I think that's really it. So like those players right there are Allison, goalkeeper.
Yeah.
He's got a whole bunch of players that are not from England or don't speak English first language, and he's able to still convey his play style to them, and they understand it perfectly. They know exactly where they're supposed to be: offense, defense, middle third, attacking third, defensive third. I thought that was really cool that he like that didn't faze him at all. Luis Diaz was like, "I don't speak any English." And Klopp's like, "Don't worry, soccer is a language that you understand."
Yeah, we'll all understand it. That's all he brings in, man. He only brings in people who understand that language, man.
One of the big subs for me, going back to your subs here, Henderson for Fabinho. I thought that was a really key sub for them. No disrespect to Fabinho, but Jordan Henderson, he just brings a different quality on the field when he plays. Just a different work rate as well.
Yeah.
I feel like he works way harder off the ball than Fabinho. No disrespect to Fabinho. A really big piece that was missing for me in this Inter game that may help them moving forward was Barella. Barella was not here. He was on a yellow card suspension. They had Vidal, who, Vidal is Vidal. He's a great player, but he is not your attacking expected goals threat.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't really offer that same threat that Barella does. Not to mention Barella's work rate is elite. He just off the ball, he works really hard. Other than that, I think 2-0 is not comfortable enough if I'm Liverpool. I'm nervous on this return leg, just because Inter proved right there that they can hang with Liverpool in the first 70 minutes. If they're able to get one goal, 1-0 in that first 70, I think Inter can pull away with that second goal. It's just a matter of sharpening up their set pieces, like Booty said. I saw an interview recently with Ralph Rangnick, and he asked the crowd of coaches, he said, if 30% of goals are scored off of set pieces, how much time should you dedicate at your practices for practicing set pieces? And like the crowd kind of went quiet. He's like, how many? And one guy was like, 30? He's like, yeah. 30. How many of you dedicate 30% of your practices to practicing set pieces?
None of them.
None of them. But it's just a fact. And ironically, I saw this interview. I went and watched Jesuit play in a quarterfinal. They lost 2-1.
On set piece.
Both goals were scored off of corner kicks. And it's just like, it was just funny, like the timing of all this. And then we see this. I don't remember if the Salah goal was a set piece, but it was a ball into the box.
Yeah.
That Van Dijk won. And I mean, it's just like you said, it makes you wonder: are they practicing these set pieces? Inter.
It's one of those things you don't think about until you're in the game and it's happening, and somebody doesn't get marked, and there you go.
You remember the argument we would have with our club team, where you make it to a PK shootout in state, and you lose, and everyone's like, damn, we didn't dedicate enough time
to PKs.
So the next year we work on PKs, and then we don't make.
Don't ever go to another PK.
We put too much time to PKs. It's like, what do you do? I don't know. It's
right.
Balance that you have to find.
Yeah.
So I think that was an issue here, like you said, the set pieces, balls into the box. It's very risky with the 3-man backline, even if you have dominant center backs that can win ball in the airs. 3-man backline is risky, man, because then you're leaving those outer channels. You're just inviting.
Yeah.
Right.
You're just inviting them in. But yeah, this is a very exciting opening knockout round of 16. These 4 games were electric.
It's electric.
While we're here with Ntwali,
he needs to give us some picks, man.
We've got 4 more games coming up this next week on February 22nd and 23rd. Why don't you give us your predictions here? First up, we've got Chelsea versus Leel. And you can predict the game as well as the tie. But we really just want your tie prediction. Who do you think will go through into the next round?
Ooh, the first one, Chelsea Lille, I would probably wager my money on Chelsea more because I think Lille is like bottom half of the table in France right now, and they're a far cry from the team that they were last year. You know, winning the league and like with as many key players they have. But then again, Chelsea's not doing that great. I read somewhere today that like Lukaku had like 2 touches in the first half of a game the other day. So it seems like it's not also clicking, but I have Chelsea ultimately going through. I think they just have way more stars, more reliability everywhere. I think they should do this.
Love it. Love it. And let's move on to the other game. This is your boys, the old lady out of Turin, Torino. This is Villarreal Juventus. Who you got?
I'm always gonna back Juve, but I think they're going into this one kind of under strength in a lot of key positions. Dybala pulled up in the game at the weekend. I think it was on Friday. He's probably not gonna play this game. They also had to play without their natural center back pairing, which is De Ligt and Chiellini. I think Chiellini is just age caught up to him. He's a little old there. But I think another center back, Bonucci, wasn't playing either. So that's looking a little sketchy. I think for Juve, this is going to get played over the second leg if they can kind of gel a little bit more, figure out what their starting midfield is, because I think Allegri's tried a bunch of different pairings there, and then Vlahovic can get firing. Hopefully they'll go through. I think they're the better team, but a lot has to kind of work for them to get through there. I think Villarreal is a hardworking team, so I think Juve is gonna have to like put in a little elbow grease to be able to get through this one.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, Villarreal I think they drew Real Madrid
They
They
did.
did.
last weekend.
Yep.
So this weekend, I don't know what they did, but they
If you go back and look at like a lot of their go back and look at like their last like 5 games. I was looking the other day. It seems like it's a different person that steps up every match for them, which is scary. Yeah. Yeah. As far as like they got a different goal scorer every game, it seems like. So it's,
they just smacked Granada 4-1.
and let's who scored?
Groenveld, Moy Gomez.
So Gomez has been key piece. Our boy is over there.
Who is this guy? Groenveld?
You remember fucking Paco?
Paco Alcanzar.
He's over there.
Chelsea.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Serge Aurier, dang.
Mm-hmm.
Aurier is there. Gerard Moreno, I think, is like their striker too.
Yeah, they got some guys that fuck no condom. Like they just go straight up.
Damn, they have Pau Torres too.
Danny Parejo, a pretty good midfielder.
That's one I was missing. Yep.
Wow, this is a solid squad here.
Yellow Submarine.
Chukwueze wrecked Danny Carvajal in that game that they were playing. So right before he played against Mbappe, he had to deal with a lot of speed from I think it's Chukwueze or something like that. Yeah.
Chukwueze. Yeah.
Can't catch a break.
Dang. All right. Dang, this is a good squad. And then their coach is their coach that old PSG coach?
Emery.
Emery.
Yeah. And he's quality. He loves Villarreal. He's won a bunch of Europa trophies with them.
The Europa specialist.
This is going to be a difficult tie for Juventus here.
A huge test, and it's gonna be a very important tie to get through for them, since Booty will probably attest to that. They dropped themselves out of the title race this year and just had a chance over the weekend to kind of like eat up some ground and still fuck that one up. So you guys gotta, I think they're still in the cup, but I think they'll have to work hard to beat this Villarreal team over 2 legs.
You know, it's funny. Speaking of this, I feel like Juventus always step up in the Champions League when they look kind of shaky in domestic leagues.
And they have this year.
Yeah.
Think about
it. Against Chelsea. We were all like, they don't look that good. And then they score a goal and they beat Chelsea. And you're like, all right, well, Allegri managed to do that somehow. So, we'll see what happens. But I'm with you, Twice. This is definitely not going to be a walk in the park for Juventus right now. Let's move on over to Wednesday, February 23rd. We'll save the fun one for later. Benfica Ajax. Who you got?
I think Ajax is one of the teams that was like undefeated in group play. So they look really good. I'm not sure what their form is right now in Holland, but I'll probably pick Ajax over Benfica.
That's an easy one. And then last, Atletico Madrid and Manchester United.
Oh man. Geez, that's a tough one. I think United has looked so shaky and unpredictable. They won today, I think 4-2, but it was like their first convincing win in like forever. And they have a mountain of liability starting from the McFred combination in midfield to Harry Maguire, who might as well be playing for the other team at this point.
Scored a lot of goals.
He does set up other teams to score some amazing goals, and he looks confused like that this happened. I feel like Varane must be thinking like I'd rather play with like Phil Jones at this point or like no one else next to me. But then again, I don't know how Atletico is doing in the Spanish league. You guys might be able to tell me this. I feel like this is on the balance. If if Man U gets everything right and gets everything together, they're obviously the better team. They have the biggest stars, and I think they're the team whose season needs this win more. So let's say Man U pulls through and wins this one.
Wow. Well, I'm gonna let you know, you were the only one. Someone else joined you. Out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Out of 8 people, you are 2 of 8 to have picked Man U.
I'm not confident in this pick either. I would say that Atletico should have the better chance, but I'm gonna go against the grain and hope that because I feel like for how bad they must be in the league, there's always a different Cristiano Ronaldo in the Champions League. He never drops the ball in the Champions League. He is UCL man. So I hope for their sake, for the millions of Man U fans all around the world, that they pull through and at least don't get knocked out in this round. Let's hope for that.
Something that everyone is forgetting here is who is Diego Simeone's kryptonite in Champions League? It's fucking Cristiano.
CR7.
Cristiano Ronaldo. He's done it time and time again. He's done it in finals. He's done it in knockout rounds. He did it when he was at Juve and knocked out Atletico. Cristiano and Simeone is one of the greatest matchups we've ever seen. And like you were saying, he is Mr. Champions League. These specific matchups are why he has earned that name. I know he's got at least one final against Atletico Madrid where he scored against Simeone, and then he's got the hat trick.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, this should be interesting. I only picked Atletico because I feel coaching. I feel like I feel like Simeone is the better coach here. He's had more time. This is his team. They know exactly what to do. Whereas Man U, it's a brand new coach. It's a brand new system. So that's my only reason. I'm with you as well as far as the players. Man U's got the better team, player for player.
Atletico's form doesn't look amazing in the league, though. I'm looking at the last 5 rounds in La Liga right there. That looks a little seesaw.
Win.
They
started the year really hot, but lately it hasn't been very sexy.
You know what? Suarez just hit a screamer.
Yeah.
He did, yeah.
Some goals in Champions League. I don't know what his problem is. He just struggles to get goals in Champions League.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. But yeah, so Twal, I'm gonna let you know. I put a box for my pick for Atletico Man U and left it blank until our last podcast, and they were like, "No, you have to put something down." I was like, "All right," and that was I just picked Atleti just because, like you said, Man U looks shaky, but
yeah, God.
My bias, I want to pick Man U. I want to see Ronaldo do it because he's capable, like you said.
I just think they need it more. And I think their fans just won't let them hear the end of it if their first year back in the Champions League after like years of playing in the Europa League, they drop it in the round of 16. If there's one game or like 2 games that Man U needs to get right this season, because let's face it, they're probably not in the running to like win in the Premier League, and any domestic cups in England just really don't mean shit to anybody. So they need to like at least go a little further in the Champions League than just around the knockouts.
But they said it better, friend.
They just moved up to that 4th spot for Champions League today.
Damn. Oh, is this because West Ham?
So West Ham tied.
So they lost.
Ooh, Arsenal.
Arsenal's close too.
It's
a very tight race for the top 4. Well, the last 4th spot.
Last 4, yeah.
Chelsea really botched it.
Arsenal does have a few games in hand. 3 actually.
Totally do. They got 3. They got 3 games in hand. Oh, this is.
And they're how far away in points?
4.
Oh,
Winning the draw, and you're right there.
that's right. Oh, baby.
I wonder how close those games are going to be played, though. That could be a factor. Like,
They're gonna have to space them out. Well, Arsenal is not in any European leg competition, so it's just up to.
Yeah, interesting. I think one of them's Tottenham. Don't they have to play Tottenham because that game got canceled or rescheduled because of the corona?
And they missed the Chelsea game because they were playing in the Club World Cup.
Those are 2 results that are not going to be straightforward 3 points. That's going to be
Nope.
a challenge. Well, all right. We have covered a lot, just about everything.
I think we should let the kid watch. No, I'm just kidding. Let the boy watch what's being consecrated here. It's Footy Fetish Show. We need to give some shout outs. Let's do it. Shout out time. Anybody have one that they want to take? It's time to open your prayer books. We do the opening. That's how we do it. We shout out those you love, those you hate. It could be either. It could be both. Whatever you're feeling. You open that prayer book. You give that shout. You let your heart open. Open your heart.
I don't have one off the top of my head.
I got one. I'll go first if you want. I never do. I'll steal a show. Shout out to the crew at Toth. Happy Mardi Gras, everybody. First of all, here in New Orleans. Your boy, Mr. Booty, Mike Daddy. He will be on, if you are out at the parades, next Sunday, 12 noon, crew at Toth. This will be my 12th year riding. And I will be float 29A. There's a 29A and a B, so don't confuse it. 29A. I'll be neutral ground. I'm on the bottom. It'll be myself, my brother, my buddy Matt, and my buddy Derek and his brothers, Dylan and Devin. So shout out to all those guys. Fun time. I probably won't remember my name by like 10 a.m. The drinking starts at like 7 a.m., 8 a.m., like eat breakfast. So, and I got a couple of friends that'll, they'll have some other stuff and they drink a little too much and they usually need help getting to the float. So it's always a good time. But come see us because we will have some Footy Fetish goodies. If you do see us, if somebody comes out there, if you can hear this, if you're listening, if you make a Footy Fetish sign, anything Footy Fetish or Mike Daddy, you will be rewarded. So that's my shout out today.
Fantastic. I've got one. This has been, Booty and I have been talking about this for a while. I'm going to make it official. Total 90 is making a comeback. The Footy Fetish podcast will be sponsored by Total 90 coming in the next couple of months or so. So be on the lookout for that. Hopefully we will be releasing the fantasy platform. So that's really exciting. Shout out to all the people that have been helping push that along, the developers, the lawyers, everyone in the Total 90 group, Ntwali, Booty. Appreciate all you guys helping test it as well. So yeah, looking forward. Shout out to Total 90 moving forward.
Almost there.
Yeah.
Twala, what you got?
All right. The shout out today is a special one because I feel like we talk about these people that care about the footy world and we never give them the proper dues. So I'll say shout out to Ocho and to Booty for creating this platform where all the footy lovers could kind of come. Even if you're new to soccer, you learn about it, the beautiful game. From all the reaches of the world, everyone in like all the random islands. I'll just throw a shout out to your 2 hosts that are, for a few years now, have been, like pushing a love for soccer to every airwave, every corner of the world. So shout out to the boys.
Oh yeah, appreciate that, brother.
Thank you, man. No, that's awesome.
Of course.
Without you, it wouldn't be a show either. So think about that.
Right, man. We appreciate you coming on here.
That's right.
Appreciate it.
That's right.
It's always a pleasure.
Love it.
I think that's all we got, man. All right. Well, tune in Tuesday and Wednesday for that other round of games. It's gonna be fun. More round of 16 coming your way for Champions League. Can't wait. I can't wait to lose more money on bets. This by the way, going back real quick, I had put $1 on Aronson to score a goal and he fucking assisted. And the minute he did, I was like, I was even telling my buddy he fucking runs the show up top. He directs traffic and I picked a goal instead of a fucking assist. It would have turned like, it was like $1 would have turned into $90.
Damn.
I know.
I'm taking that every day.
Oh, I put dollar bets down all the time.
Yeah.
One of those hit, it makes up for all the fucking $90 of bets I've already lost. So, but no. Meantime, happy Mardi Gras, everybody. And this has been the Footy Fetish Show, where the fetish is real and the footy is soccer. No barcode. Peace out, Boy Scouts. So Ntwali, one of our buddies, he got very upset with me. He bought some Jordans. I love Jordans.